Center.
I see what you're saying. I don't know how that works because I'm not an aerospace engineer. I don't.
You said
know
all the water
exact
gets pulled to the
science.
center of the
Everything gets
earth.
pulled to the center
That's how
of the
come
earth.
that spin
That's what
off.
we're told, correct?
How does the compass point north in Australia? How does it go around the curve?
That's all of it.
There are.
I was just thinking about that.
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that? What were your point? That the sun. Why doesn't the sun pull it in, and why does the moon come crashing into Earth?
This is pulled to the sun, correct? Holding it in place throughout its orbit, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, now that means that this, because of all the gravitational forces everywhere involved, says that this creates an orbit around that because that is bigger than this and size matters.
Well, I would
So
say then
mass
that the moon is in fact in orbit around the sun if the Earth is in orbit around the sun.
Don't disagree.
They're both orbiting
I'm not
around
disagreeing.
the sun.
Correct.
And as I'm just trying to conceptualize
Right.
this. So if Earth is moving in an orbit like this, then the moon is over here. It's getting pulled in some direction. I wish I could like map
It'll
out.
be pulled to the middle of that ball.
But
That's what science says.
You'll have to agree at some point it's going to be a little bit different on one side than another. Even
I think it would cross at some. The lines would sort of cross. It would look a little bit like a squiggly line.
Right,
The
exactly, yeah, I
moon
know.
would look a little squiggly, and that would lend the sun's gravity may look like that. It may account for that.
Where's that
squiggly
tomato at? Henry, toss me that tomato.
There's that tomato.
There's our moon.
Did you want
Put
me
the
to-
Earth back down, make believe it's spinning.
Well, orbiting, not spinning.
No, it's spinning too.
Okay. Well, yes, all the above, yeah.
Okay, now, we don't have to move it, we'll just make believe that it's spinning and orbiting. Okay, now my point is, forget about all the spin and orbit, we'll just agree I'll agree that, if you do, that everything's spinning and orbiting for this theory.
Okay.
When the moon is here, it also goes around, orbits around the Earth, correct?
Yes.
What stops the sun from pulling the moon away? That's my only question.
I'd say the gravitational force of Earth is probably stronger than the gravitational pull of the sun because it's proximity.
Okay, let's go with that.
what about Saturn then?
What about,
It's got
hold
the
on,
same gravitational pull.
what about this side? Because now, not only on this side do you have the pull of the Earth has to be strong enough to keep it away from the sun. Because the sun is pulling on everything, it's that big. So if it's on this side, how is it that the sun is not pulling on it?
Well, remember that, so the moon is also in orbit of the sun, as the
Elliptical
Earth,
orbit, yes.
as the Earth is in orbit.
Correct, and
around the sun,
it's
it's also in orbit.
it doesn't mean that here, sometimes the orbit's over here, sometimes it's over
Yes.
here.
Yep.
Okay, so that means when it's over here, the orbit would have nothing to do because it's backwards. If it's over here far away, that means it's even further away from this, so it should be pulled right to the sun.
You're saying when it's on the other side, you got two different separate forces.
Now you have two forces
It can't be
pulling
the
on.
same on both
Well,
sides.
there's,
Boom, boom. It's like a bullet, shoot right through that thing and go right to the sun.
and again, I can't say, I'm not an aerospace
Oh no, this
engineer.
is just
I am-
common sense.
Well, you say common sense.
Too many-
I'm using my common sense to try to.
Point of fact,
With the information.
every
we learned in
time
science
Mars
class.
and Moon and Jupiter is lined up, the, what was it, the earthquake, Japan, Fukushima,
Okay,
March 11th, that was because they were all lined up and the gravitational force affected and boom, that happened. Well, a girl and 14-year-old girl somewhere predicted that was going to happen that day. So, you know, gravitational pull of when planets are lined up it's really simple science. I mean, it does affect it now. That's his point.
I'd be skeptical of.
You'd be skeptical of science that everybody believes. now you're not want to believe whatever
Don't put words in my
no,
mouth.
this is what all of
That's
us
what you
were
just
taught,
said.
this is what you were taught in school, that gravity from the Earth
Yes.
holds the moon in orbit, correct? The center
Yes.
of the Earth.
Yes.
The center of the sun holds the orbit of the Earth, correct? Now let's put those two forces together. If the gravitational pull of the sun is pulling on the Earth, logic, common sense, or anything else says, it would also pull on the moon. Here you have double forces. Sun, Earth. Here you have separated forces. Earth, Sun.
Possibly those forces aren't as strong as you would consider them to be.
Yeah,
Well,
but
that's-
it's strong enough
at
to
that
hold
speed,
all
you-
planets.
Big old
That's the
planet.
point.
There's
Right,
no-
to the universe.
If it's holding Pluto,
The
what keeps
momentum
it from
That's the-
sucking us
well,
in?
That's just
Of that orbit.
That's, and the moon doesn't spin either.
Correct.
So that's always facing the same. So it says that the Earth spins to hold itself in place.
Well, actually,
They say the sun- the
that's
moon
technically
rotates.
incorrect. The Earth does spin, or the moon does spin.
Not
it
on
just,
its orbit.
Yes, it
not
does
on
not.
its-
It does not spin
on
on
its
its
axis.
axis. That's correct. Yes.
That's my point. So that's, okay. Oh, this is a, oh no, this is somebody totally else. A friend of mine. I was expecting a YouTube call.
All right.
Here, I'll take it.
But, you know, kind of getting back to like the whole North Star
Yeah.
idea and stuff, and, you know, we're only
Oh, you called me
talking
back.
about the Earth spinning or circling the sun.
I'm
but
sorry, I missed the whole start of that. What was that?
I don't even remember what I said at the beginning. Anyway, what I'm getting at is, you know, we're only talking about the gravity of the moon, or gravity of the Earth pulling this, and rotating the moon rotating around the Earth because of that. And then we're talking about the sun, or the moon, or the Earth rotating around the sun and the gravitational force of that. But we're leaving out another one, and that's the fact that the sun is moving over 600,000 miles an hour to the inner rotation through the Milky Way, and then the Milky Way on top of that is moving at like however many millions of miles, whatever it is, around the Great Attractor. We don't see any parallax in any of the stars and all these other universes, as we're constantly changing by the minute our location comparatively to everything else out in the universe.
I would disagree with that, and I have evidence to prove otherwise.
Disagree with what?
That we don't see that parallax. I could show you photos of that. That parallax that we see year to year. May I bring my textbook?
Now go ahead. What was it, Aries failure, where you filled the telescope up with water?
I need to show just the picture